Hindenburg disaster of May 1937 produced images like these which shocked the world. In just 34 seconds, the Titanic-sized airship was reduced to ruins when it burst into flames at Lakehurst Naval Base in New Jersey. How could such a thing happen? In the years after the disaster, many theories emerged, from sabotage to mechanical failure, that try to explain the downing of the Hindenburg. In 1937, Hitler's Nazi Germany helped organize together the world's first scheduled transatlantic passenger air service between Frankfurt and New York. Using airships built by the Zeppelin Company, the Hindenburg was the flagship, the pride of Nazi Germany's transporting industry. The Germans were also behind the world's first airline, and have been flying airships even before the Great War. A ticket on the Hindenburg would have cost you $400 at the time, or $5,000 when adjusted for inflation. This barrier to entry meant only the wealthy of the wealthy could fly the swastika-bearing Hindenburg. Just as large as the Titanic, the Hindenburg could carry up to 70 people in its passenger cabin. The cabin contained staterooms like what you would find on an ocean liner. It also included a restaurant, a study, and a promenade for the passengers to gaze out of. The Hindenburg itself is comprised of an outer skin made of a cotton linen compound. The inside is made of hundreds of bracing wires that help make up the skeleton of the airframe. Also on the inside are a total of 16 ginormous gas bags filled with highly flammable hydrogen. The gas bags themselves were made of a special plastic and cotton composition. On May 3, 1937, 36 passengers embarked the flight to Lakehurst Naval Base in New Jersey. Among the passengers is a high-ranking personal accomplice of Adolf Hitler. The flight will take just 2.5 days. At the time, this was twice as fast as the fastest ocean liners. On May 6, 1937, the Hindenburg arrives in the United States. Shortly before docking, the passengers are treated to a view of Manhattan as well as the outlying areas, as crowds gather on the ground to catch a glimpse of the majestic Hindenburg floating in the New York skyline. The weather turns unpredictable, as storms push a delay on docking the airship for 12 hours. As the weather clears, the crew quickly adjust their course to line up for mooring the ship to the masts on the ground in New Jersey. The weather once again hampers the landing procedure. The process for docking the airship are already difficult, but with the weather, makes it even more of a challenge. The captain orders the crew to make a sharp turn to the left, and then followed by a sharp turn to the right. The Hindenburg was not designed to make such sharp maneuvers. It is believed that one of the bracing wires snapped during these maneuvers. Like an elastic band snapping, the bracing wire whips a tear in one of the gas bags, causing the hydrogen inside to leak out. The leaking hydrogen alone cannot bring down the Hindenburg in the way it did, without some kind of a charge to ignite it. Eyewitnesses on the ground saw almost like a bubbling on the top surface of the Hindenburg shortly before she went down. With hydrogen leaking from the aircraft, the crew feel the Hindenburg is not properly balanced for mooring, and so they release ballast water to try and balance the airship. The weather conditions were also not improving, with a light rainfall. The conditions were just right for thunderstorms, and the whole outer shell of the Hindenburg was statically charged. The crew, unaware of the leaking hydrogen, lowers the mooring lines to connect the airship with the ground ready for docking. Connecting the moors with the ground created an electrostatic discharge, and this is what ignited the hydrogen inside. In just 34 seconds, the Hindenburg went from a majestic flying machine to a smoldering mess of metal frames. 13 passengers and 12 crew members, along with a dog, perished with the Hindenburg, as well as 1 crew member on the ground. The Hindenburg disaster quickly brought an end to the already tarnished airship industry. After World War II, airships were almost forgotten as a means of passenger transport, as airplanes began to take over the skies. You can still find airships flying today operating sightseeing flights, but the memories of the Hindenburg disaster will never be forgotten.